From Tyson's exaggerated million views to the Molly May DM, Jake Paul and Tommy Fury are set to end each other's careers once and for all. And people want to know how the rivalry began in the first place. In fact, why does Jake hate Fury so much? For starters, it all started with Tyson. And from then on, there were a couple of things involved that just made this rivalry even more intense. Basically, Tommy's brother, the Gypsy King, was the actual instigator of the upcoming multi-million-pound boxing match. So you better thank him for it. Back in 2021, he shared a photoshopped screen grab of his younger brother's fight, showing off the 1.9 million views. The only problem? They hardly broke 100,000 views. Yep, he shared a fake screen grab. Not only that, but he was so confident in his skills that he decided to tag Jake and tell him how Tommy slaughtered the competition.
So the pressure's on him for sure, and he probably will have to stay here in Saudi, and maybe he wants to. It's really nice here. Maybe he can become Cristiano Ronaldo's, masseuse or something.
But here's the twist. Jake didn't even know Tommy existed. I mean, sure, everybody knows Tyson, but it might not be the same for the rest of the family. On top of that, the YouTuber raised a pretty valid point. Tommy shouldn't hide behind his brother to call someone out. At least, that's definitely not something I'd expect to see in the UFC. In fact, here's what Jake said. I don't want to beef with Tyson Fury, but damn, if Tyson Fury took a SHIT, it would be his little brother. He even went as far as calling the ex-Love Islander a Ken Barbie doll looking mother effer. And Tommy's response? Stick to YouTube.
There's no, emotions running through this fight for me. It's purely business.
It's just how he's going to handle the knockout. And half the fight's mental, because I'm currently sitting atop the throne in terms of this, crossover professional boxing sport.
And no, he didn't just tweet that or something. He went the extra mile to wear a blonde wig and mock his locks as he said that. But if you thought that was the end of it, think again.
Oh, let's go.
Listen, congratulations on doing the fight.
Let's go,
We're
bro.
really excited for it, boys.
We were just talking about you.
Yeah, last week John said anyone who backs Jake over Tommy would be a sports casual.
Jake even dragged Tommy's girlfriend into the mess. Yep, the two fighters went on to trade jabs online, never face to face. And it seems like the YouTuber turned boxer decided it was time to take this another step further in 2018. So he posted a screenshot of what seemed to be Molly's message, saying that she's probably gonna come to America later that year and that she's always been a fan of his videos. Now, the alleged message even had a white heart emoji and a face licking its lips. Random information? Not really. Trust me, that's pretty relevant. Anyway, it seemed like Tommy's girlfriend wanted his biggest rival to show him around, but she wasn't taking this lightly. Sure, we've seen the worst trash talks in the UFC, but involving your rival's girlfriend, who, by the way, has absolutely nothing to do with you, now that's messed up, I'm not gonna lie. But it soon became clear that he pulled a classic Tyson Photoshop move as well when she caught on that the two emojis didn't make sense. Why? Well, the white heart emoji wasn't officially in use at the time of the message, and unless she's got some secret links to cool emojis before they're released to peasants like us, there's absolutely no way this message was real. Now that's embarrassing. In fact, she took it to Twitter to say that times must be rough, that he's trying to fake a DM. But again, this was just the beginning of their rivalry. There are a couple of incidents that went on, like the time Paul reacted to a video of shirtless Tommy dancing in a nightclub, claiming that it was the most embarrassing thing he had seen in a while. Not only that, but he also went on to tag Molly, asking her to come get her man, followed by a vomit emoji. In case you're wondering, this time the vomit emoji was definitely legit and not another failed Photoshop attempt. And he added that if he was ever doing something like that, shirtless on a table dancing, someone needs to pull him out of the club immediately. Having said that, fans now wanted something more than random trash talk. It was time they faced each other. Even if it wasn't a fight, we just needed to see that energy in a face-off. Tommy, who signed a 2-fight contract with the US network Showtime, now won on points. Meanwhile, Jake did the exact same thing. So it was pretty clear that they're set to have a grudge match, something we've we've all desperately been waiting for. On top of that, when they finally came face to face backstage, their rivalry reached new heights, causing a melee between their teams. And later on, Tommy said in a statement that there was a moment in that corridor where everything was going off. They had their security teams up against each other, and there were only two. They looked dead into each other's souls. But here's the thing, Tommy said that if Jake had the guts, he'd have been in the ring with him, but he didn't because he knew he wouldn't be able to go back on it. And now, the clash between the ex-Love Islander, Tommy Fury, and the YouTuber turned boxer, Jake Paul, is set to happen on February 26th in Saudi Arabia. But let me remind you that finishing this wasn't always easy. Tommy Fury seemed to back out every single time. It didn't take long to kickstart negotiations. Fans were super excited to see the two in the ring.
I'm just smirking to myself. I pinch myself every time, every single day to see if it's real.
Now, here we are and less than a month away.
For this fight. So I think we're about 4 weeks away.
But they kept hitting one road bump after another. In fact, Tommy rejected 2 fight offers. All right, I know. The first one was pretty legit, considering he had a chest infection and a broken rib. And then later on, he pulled out of another fight because he had a visa problem and was denied entry into the United States. If you ask me, Jake's ready to fight, and he's trying whatever he can to make that happen. Meanwhile, Tommy, not so much. In fact, the YouTuber turned boxer even bumped the deal up to $1 million on top of the pay-per-view bonuses. But it still wasn't enough for Fury, who needed millions and millions of pounds. Meanwhile, he was also rejecting offers with one excuse or another, none of which were financial. But isn't the third time the charm? At least I hope it is. Having said that, even though the fight's gonna be happening soon, there are still a few things that fans can't shake off. Tommy didn't even show up at the press conference in Saudi Arabia. Now imagine this. First, there's a boxer out there who's calling you out through his elder brother, the Gypsy King, someone who's already marked his legacy. And then he follows it up with a bunch of trash talk, never coming face to face. When he finally does, he says he's ready to fight, but then he rejects your offer, not once, but twice. And when he finally agrees on the final one, he ditches you at the first promotional event. Still think the guy's serious? Because Jake clearly doesn't. Call it Tommy's overconfidence or unprofessionalism, but that's not the way to go about such a big fight, especially since this could easily be a watershed moment in his career. No wonder Jake hates him. In fact,
but it's a perfect next step for me. It's a massive fight. He's a professional boxer, same age, same weight. So the critics can't say, we'll fight a real boxer now, or fight someone your age. So it checks that off the list for me.
Tyson himself said that his younger brother doesn't need to come back from Saudi Arabia if he can't manage to grab a win. Not only that, but his father, John Fury, also said that if Tommy's coming back without a victory, he might as well be looking at retirement. So at this point, it's not just his own career that's on the line, but also Fury's reputation. With that said, I think he needs to take this a bit more seriously. And there you have it. Now you know why Jake Paul absolutely hates Tommy Fury.